Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We're going to play chess while all these other boys are playing checkers.
Let's get as many points as we can. It all starts right here. Be ready?
And the green flag is in the air. Here they come, storming to turn one. This is incredible! Can he get it done?
The grandstands are going wild.
Yeah, let's go, baby! Hell yeah, boys!
They're crashing mid-track. Checkered flag is out.
What a finish, boys.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
We now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
pressure, high stakes. It feels like the whole world's watching every move that I make. Another sunrise, another warning, but I'm still learning how to hold the line, how to quiet down the noise inside. And the moment away when I forget what I need, so I steady up my hands, let the rhythm set me free. I remember to breathe when the whole world shakes me down. Clear mind, be free. I won't break, I won't bow. I'm holding on, yeah, I'm stronger than I seem. I remember to breathe.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into Infinity Broadcasting, and welcome into High Side Motorsports Season 2 for the chase. It's round 3 as we ride out at Bristol Motor Speedway. It's the Macho Ham 250 here this evening for the midway point of our chase portion of the season. It's coming down to the absolute wire, but dominance has been personified by Will McKellar within this chase format. He has had a win already back at the first round of the chase at Chicagoland, and a good finish last week out at Watkins Glen as well. We look forward to tonight here at Bristol, where we'll see if he can pull off another miracle for himself within this period of racing for the chase. Championship's on the line for him to try and win, and he has an opportunity to do it. Hamish Munro here with you alongside Bailey Brannan, as it has been the last few weeks. Bailey, we come into tonight at Bristol. This is going to be a tough track to challenge ourselves with, mainly because of the fact we're doing 300 laps. Very, very easy, obviously, to get into caution fests here at Bristol. If that does happen, we could be in for an extended night. 3 stages across the night, though, throughout these 250 miles through lap 70, lap 170, and then to the check-in at lap 300 as well. Short lap times, short fuel runs. This is a race, though, that can be completed within 2 stops. If you're willing to fuel save in the last 130 laps, you can do it. It's going to be a tough task for you to do it, though, but maybe you need to hope that a couple of cautions and maybe just a bit of help could get you there in the end.
Right, and I do want to clarify, so there was an error on the schedule. I guess this that you passed on, but we're actually running 250 laps tonight with stages at 50 and 150. There was an error made on the schedule, but tonight, still a long race at Bristol here tonight. It's really going to challenge these drivers. Even those that are showing pace, like, Rinker and McKellar. McKellar already dominant throughout the chase, and, he's fastest in practice here tonight. We'll see if he can keep up that dominance here tonight. I mean, Bristol, it's a short track. It's a wild card of a track, I'd like to think. Anything can happen tonight.
Well, we'll see what happens across the race, of course, and that'll be a nice look at where we currently sit this season, obviously, tonight. Third round of the chase. Macho Ham 250. The third chase, of course. We've got 2 rounds to go after tonight. Safe Electric and Plumbing 150 next week at Phoenix, and then the Charlotte Classic out at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the final chase of the season as well. Looking at our championship points, currently it is being headed up by Will McKellar, Kevin Winker, Magnus Anderson, the top 3. Justin Day, Mike Rinker ahead of Charles Rinker to Dalton Henson, Cody Pruitt, Robert Stevens Jr., Nick Mercer, Austin Stamper, Zach Smathers. Tough round last week for the likes of Charles Rinker, has pretty much taken him out of the chase now, pretty much taken him out of the championship. Really, it feels like it's a 2-horse race, but poor round for Will McKellar tonight and next week at Phoenix could bring the likes of Magnus Anderson back into contention. Ultimately, though, it is Will McKellar's to lose at this stage here, Bailey. Knowing that Winker is away next week at Phoenix and everyone else is nearly 60 points away, it feels like it's time for caution management for Will, and he just has to try and keep it clean across tonight and the next 2 weeks, and he will be the champion come the end of it.
Oh, absolutely. I think that McKellar just needs to have a clean race here tonight. He needs to have a good finish. I think Rinker, he needs to have a good finish tonight. If he doesn't have a good finish, it's really going to hurt him next week. He's got a pretty good gap on third place, and he can realistically still catch McKellar. But with him missing that missing Phoenix next week, it's really going to make things difficult for him. And, it's like you said, Charles Rinker had a bad race last week. It was very unfortunate. His power went out mid-race. We think Mike might have had something to do with that. And the two-finger bandit of Freddie himself might have had something to do with that as well.
There wasn't a thought. There was. It happened.
It happened?
It's
confirmed.
It confirmed. We know
we
that Freddie was at fault for that incident. And I mean, who else could you blame other than the two-finger bandit?
That's a fair point.
We know that kid is very, very maniacal and smart, and he will have you believe otherwise. But that's just part of his game, part of his tactics to figure it out.
He's very deceptive.
How do I trick you? Yeah, pretty much. He's very, very deceptive. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens here tonight, obviously. And if drivers can get themselves home, well, that's going to be the big test, of course, throughout tonight's race. And if they can do that, well, then we'll see how well they can keep themselves in check and in line all throughout as well. You mentioned that, Bailey, that it is. Those stages were actually wrong on the calendar. I don't know who made the calendar graphic, but that's what it's been all season, so that's what I was going off of.
No, that's fair.
I blame them. The issue then becomes it is actually no longer a two-stopper. It is always now going to be a three-stopper because of the fact you'd have to save 4 gallons to get the car home. That's going to make it pretty much impossible to do this on a two-stop strategy today.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely going to play a factor in your strategy. And one thing is for sure is that these guys are going to be able to get through the first stage without having to worry about pitting. So that's going to be very interesting in terms of how we see the race play out. How are these guys going to play this? Are we just going to see them just go for it in this first stage, or are we going to see some guys try to save? Maybe I don't know. I mean, I'm very interested to see how this plays out.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we'll see how it pans out for them as well. Qualifying is just about to get underway here as drivers are first entering the circuit. We see Mike Rinker trying to set his first lap times, Jonathan Day as well as Kevin Winker too. So we'll see what sort of lap times they can put on the board here in qualifying. We're waiting for their best lap times to get applied here. Remembering they've got 3 laps to set these lap times. Kevin Winker, we knew he was going to struggle here tonight. We'll see if he can hang on to it throughout this portion. Talk us through this track here at Bristol, though, Bailey. Obviously, short track. There's a lot of nuances about it, though, trying to maximise everything out of the car. We've obviously seen a race here before, but what are some of the nuances when the lights turn on and the sun goes down and a cooling Bristol circuit? How does that affect the car out there?
Oh man, it doesn't. I mean, it definitely grips up the track a little bit more than you would be if it was during the day, which is going to make some fast-paced action here at Bristol. One thing that's still crucial, though, and on a cold track is tire management. You want to make sure that right front is as cool as possible, and it's very easy to overheat that right front here at Bristol. It's a very like I said, it's a very fast track. Each lap's about 15 seconds, but don't let that fool you. This will still be an endurance race for these guys here tonight, and you are going to have to be perfect throughout 250 laps. Here tonight if you want to come out on top.
I'm going to correct you there, Bailey. Across 250 miles, it's 300 laps in this race. This track's shorter than a mile.
Yeah, no, it's 250 laps. It's a half a mile, so it's.
That's not. Hang on. You did it again. You said 250 laps. It's a 250 mile race.
No, it's a 200. No, because it's 250 laps.
No, it's not. It's 300 laps, Bailey.
No, it is 250 laps.
The race is supposed to be 300 laps.
Right. Well, there was someone messed up on the schedule. It's a 250 lap race with stages at 50 and 150.
But that's important to say there, Bailey, because that's different than, again, than what you've just spoken about. So that means actually it is a 2-stop race. If it's going to be... So who the hell made the schedule, Bailey?
Well, to who put the graphic together, I actually
want to throttle someone because of that, because that's very annoying.
That's very annoying. It's very aggravating. It was an error that was only realized by Will McKellar prior to the race. He hopped into the admin chat, or the chat with all the admins. Was like, "Hey, is this right?" And we're like, "Well, I knew it was a 250 lap race because prior to the season starting, initially it was like we wanted to kind of come down from 300 laps because that was a long race last season, and initially it was 200 laps, but I fought for it to be more than that, and it ended up being 250 laps. So 250 laps is the correct distance here tonight. Stages are at 50 and 150. It's still going to be a very exciting race, regardless of the 2-stopper. But I believe, what's the tank here, 75? So it will potentially still be a 3-stop race because it'll be...
Man, you say 75%?
Well, I'm trying to think how many laps...
75% is 14 gallons, Bailey.
Well, no, not percent. I'm talking in terms of laps. I don't know the exact...
Well, if it's 60%, which is 11... Anyway... We haven't really got time to work through that right now.
No.
Starting grid right here this evening will be as follows. Will McKellar will start ahead of Magnus Anderson with Mike Rinker and Kevin Winker on the second row of the grid. Brian Day, Robert Stevens Jr. will start ahead of Jonathan Day, Cody Pruitt. With Nick Mercereau, Blake Hullett making up our top 10. Paul Harris, Stephen Linger will start ahead of Zach Smothers, Charles Rinker. With Dalton Henson, Damon Marotta, Posey Kareen, Justin McCurdy and Steve Scarborough making up the 19-car grid. Austin Cole was supposed to race today, but Brian Bravocic in race control has unfortunately not showed up, so that means that Austin will have to now step into the race control booth and look after everyone on the circuit here today. So, ironically, I thought it was only going to be Mustangs and Chevrolets once again, but Posey, who has out of the depths come back to the racing circuit, has brought the Toyota with him. So there is a singular Toyota out there at the back end of the field. Next season, it's going to be an interesting spread because the majority of cars are probably going to be the Ram, with the Toyota sprinkled in alongside maybe a Ford and possibly a Silverado. Who knows? When we move over to the trucks.
Silverado out there.
Surely somebody will. We're going to have to change the stage numbers as well. It's all happening here as we get underway once again. And it is green flag in High Side Motorsports. The Macho Ham 250 is underway. Stage 1, 50 laps for Will McKellar, Magnus Anderson. It's time to maximize your points. And the one thing that Anderson can do tonight that could maybe affect it is that was Jonathan. Was that Jonathan Day? No, it wasn't. It was Rob Stevens or Brian Day dropping super low on the back stretch. He's back and running again. The one thing that Magnus can hope for tonight is McKellar doesn't get any stage points. If McKellar gets 0 stage points and Magnus wins both stages as the first caution is out. Oh, that's a huge one. Charles Rinker's involved. Brian, Paul Harris as well. Damon Marotta. I think it's just avoided that. Blake Hullett's been in it too. So is a few other cars involved as well. That is an ugly one. But yeah, the one thing that we do know is, Bailey, if he stops him from getting 2 cautions or 2 stages worth of points, and Magnus wins both, that's 20 points immediately that he's gained on the championship lead. So that's the one thing that he can do here today. Let's watch this how this happens. So actually, it's already starting up ahead with Hullett and Harris. Up in towards, I believe that's turn 1 it is. So what is happening? What is this stuff happening down the main straight? So Harris to the inside. Oh, he's just come up high on him. He squeezed him to the wall, and then Harris gets spun around. They both slide up, and Charles has nowhere to go.
Ooh. That's unfortunate. It looks like either one or two things happened right there. That was either netcode, or it looks like Harris just held. I
don't think there's netcode in that one. I think Paul unfortunately just had the spatial awareness of a blind duck, and he just ran up high on him and put him in the wall. To be honest with you, you know, I know that Paul drives my car, but I'll be honest when I see it, and that one there unfortunately was on Paul. Unfortunately for his sake, at least, and unfortunately for Blake's sake as well. We don't want to see multiple cars involved in incidents. And, yeah, luckily for Blake, though, he made it through that relatively unscathed. No one coming into pit lane this early in the race, knowing that they can make it to the end of the stage on fuel. What we may see happen is we may see some drivers, if they get a caution prior to the stage end, just coming in, topping up with fuel, and then actually staying out at the stage end if they're not too worried about stage points. And more than likely, the non-chase drivers would pull off that strategy if that was going to be a positive choice for them. McKellar, though, and Anderson want to try and maximise points. Rinker needs to maximise points. So does Kevin Winker. I'll be honest with you, though, Bailey. I think with Winker mixed in next week, based on the current point standings, I don't think he has a chance. Because he's going to go a full race behind with a provisional. That's going to be almost impossible to beat. Because, think about it, he's nearly 20 points back off McKellar already. Let's say he drops another 10 points to him. That's 30 points. Provisional to a full race win is a 45-point disadvantage. He's going to go out to a 70-point disadvantage. There won't be enough points available to him at Charlotte for him to win the championship, and it'll be done prior to us even getting there.
I think it's rather unfortunate. I think if he didn't have the race he had at Chicagoland, I think this would have been I think it would have been a less fortunate situation. I think it still would have been difficult for him to pull this one out, but I think with the situation he's in right now, he really does need strong points and also misfortune upon others as we get restarted here.
Poor luck can often at times be something you can hope for. There's a back to green flag running as well. You see for McKellar and Anderson, they're trying to keep it clean, but it's another caution further back, and it's Blake Hullett again, who has now gone round. This was on the back stretch, so down towards turn 3. So we'll try and see how this happens. He had Kareen to the outside as well as... that's tough. Little self-clear across the nose of Kareen.
Yeah.
And that's a tough one. And another caution out again. And again, the more cautions that come out, the longer this race is going to be. The endurance factor is going to become a factor very, very soon, the longer this goes on.
I will say one of the things that's definitely mentally tasking is playing a game of iPacing. It's never fun, and you're just sitting there, just cruising around it. I think pace speed here is 35, maybe 45 miles an hour, so it's not fast at all. So that can become mentally tasking on you as a driver. So you're sitting there, you're thinking like, man, like, are we just gonna race? I came here to race, but all I'm doing is sitting here pacing.
Well, let's pull in Paul Harris. We know he's been involved in an incident already tonight, and he's in pit lane at the moment. Paul, welcome in. Early incident for you, obviously. Bit of a self-clear up in the wall from yourself. Do you expect a penalty to come your way for the early incident that brought out the first caution tonight, or do you think that you might get away with it?
It was called a little bit of net code. I would almost expect a penalty from that, if I'm being completely honest. I came up a little bit. And caught the nose of him.
That's what we saw from our view, obviously. 250 lap race tonight, 3 different stages. Really only need a pit at each stage, and you wouldn't need an extra stop tonight to get the car home now. Knowing that it is a game of just pit at those stage ends, is it going to be full push at the end of this race, knowing that you haven't really got a chase to fight for, and it's all about bragging rights for you?
I mean, I'm going to keep it nice and simple. I'm probably not going to push it too hard. Just stay out of everyone's way.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I might give her the beans.
Couple of beans, see what happens, put the foot down. There's a bit of damage on some cars up ahead of you. We wish you the best of luck on this restart and see if you can survive, or maybe the next the short or long green flag run here at Bristol.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It looks like Paul is racing against a modified car. The 52 of Steve Scarborough is missing his front bumper.
Well, Steve has been known this season to get involved in a couple of hits. And like Elvis, he'll be hoping he doesn't end up dead on the toilet from this either. He wants to get that car home as best he can. Pace truck's going to come in though. He might be waiting for another caution to fix it without wasting the fast repair. It's a smart move. Will McKellar will then take us to the restart zone. Green flag once again. Lap 13 of 50 here for stage number 1. We are underway. Mike Rinker battling away with his teammate. Kevin Winker, and Magnus Anderson gave him a little bit of netcode knock off the road down there. You noticed how that car responded as Scarborough is really struggling further back. I've seen he's had a moment. I think he's actually... Oh, he has actually had a moment.
Oh, he just wrecked that car in 3.
He has, and somehow it's not brought out the caution. He had Charles behind him. Oh, netcode contact straight in the barrier. It was a huge contact with the wall. Somehow he got it back to pit lane without getting the caution going. McKellar, though, with the Cuban Mama Sita punk entry. He's trying to maybe just be have a celebratory Sex Pistol party. If he can get this car to the front end. He's been really...
That car around in 4.
Oh, we do indeed. It's Cody Pruitt. Cody Pruitt. Oh, that's a huge one.
Oh, what a hit.
That is a huge one. He's collected by Paul Harris on the way through. Cody Pruitt.
Out of the way.
Well, it's a bit hard. You see that little bit of netcode self-clear across the nose of Smathers. Contact. Smathers then finishes the job. And as he goes back up the track, oh, actually, Paul got drilled in there, arca braked by Opposey Kareen. So the struggles of Bristol continue. And this may be a continuous struggle on the night.
Potentially. I'd love to see the perspective of Opposey there. I'm wondering if he could even see the wreck from where he was at. One thing about Bristol with the high banking, sometimes it's really hard to see the wrecks that are happening in front of you because of the high banking. And you're moving at such a high rate of speed, you more often than not have little time to react. So I'm very interested to see what happens here. Oh, yeah. You know, you're coming right out of the exit. I mean, just, you know, we're playing in slow motion, but if you play this in real time, I mean, you just see he has such little time to react there. I mean, that's a tough spot to be in as a driver.
Really no time. There's no time to react. He can't.
There's just no time.
You could have the fastest reactions in the world. Even if you did, the car's not going to get pulled up anyway. Rob Stevens Jr. going to come into pit lane now as well. Pruitt and Hullett have been down pit road. The question then becomes how many more or how much further into this race are we actually going to go before drivers actually start dropping off, before cars start dropping off, before fast repairs are wasted and cars are destroyed. I suppose if you wasted the fast repair and then you blow your engine, that's it, your day's done anyway. Tough to do here at Bristol. Obviously it's not that high speed, but you are still capable. Enough front end contacts, the engine will eventually go on you. You'll disconnect something and it won't like it, so you've just got to hope that your car stays nice and tidy all throughout. What more can Magnus do here? I mean, knowing this has been a caution fest, if he can find the pace here, Bailey, surely he's just going to try and get past McKellar as soon as he can, knowing the cautions are giving some level of reprieve.
Oh yeah, one thing Magnus is going to have to do is he's going to have to basically create his own opportunity here. If he can find the pace to match McKellar, he's probably going to want to try to use the old bumper to try to get him out of the way. That's what I would expect, or, you know, if he can't pass him on the outside cleanly, because I know McKellar's not going to give up the bottom. So I'm very interested to see what's going to occur here over these next 25-ish laps till stage end.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? We say that it's 25-ish laps. We've barely even made it through the first portion of this race. And we've had 3 cautions. Lap 22 underway of 50 for stage number 1. McKellar will get us going. Kevin Winker with a great restart to the inside of Magnus Anderson. And it's Ford versus Chevrolet on that inside line. Oh, I see a bit of a wiggle there for Jonathan Dane behind as well. Barely caught it up as they run it round turn 3 and 4 up towards the start-finish line. For the next time by, that was actually turn 1 and 2. Very confusing here at Bristol. You can easily get lost at which corner you're at. Both
very
are the same.
Easy to get the turns mixed up.
Well, they're all the same, aren't they, Bailey? I mean, it's Bristol looks very, very similar no matter where you are. Just really depends on the camera angle that you're facing at, to be fair. So that's sometimes the difficulty.
Yeah.
We can see that Anderson, though, bad restart here. He's already dropped now down to P3. He needs to get a move on here. And he kind of has to hope that McKellar catches trouble, because he does not want to get caught out in the fact that McKellar could get a full stage points worth of points here, extend that lead by 2, and really knock back the opportunity for Magnus to gain points on him down to a net 0. the one thing we do know is Phoenix next week, Charlotte the week after. If the points gap remains at 60 as the caution's out again, and this time it's Blake Hullett again who has brought it out. The one key note for Magnus is if a mistake happens for McKellar over the next 2 weeks, or tonight, and he doesn't finish with points, the game's on again. As Hullett got loose, netcode off the side of Smathers and straight up in the wall.
Destroyed his car. That car is destroyed. He's going to need a fast repair. That's unfortunate. He's just gotten caught in so much mess already here tonight.
He has indeed. There we see the beautiful Bristol Motor Speedway. Of course, this is a wonderful part of the world to go racing. Of course, dirt track racing's previously been run here at Bristol. I'm a believer that we should run the Bristol Dirt Circuit at some point.
Oh boy.
Especially in the trucks. That'd be great to see the rear end just sliding around. Be fantastic. Come on, Bailey. You know to be good.
That might be that. Oh man, that might be a race that I have I returned to the booth for. I don't know if that's gonna be a race that I participate in.
So we've confirmed that Bailey doesn't have the balls to run Bristol Dirt Circuit. Fair enough.
Hey, look, anybody that uses the iRacing service that is raced Bristol Dirt will probably agree with me, except for the number 47 of Opposy, Kareen. He is a bit of a dirt connoisseur.
To be fair to Opposy Kareen, he's run IndyCar here at Bristol, and that is just death waiting to happen.
Absolutely.
You're knocking on heaven's door at that point. So, you got to be selective with your Guns N' Roses. You don't want to just be picking any of them.
Exactly. I'm actually curious I wonder how quick a lap here at Bristol is in an Indy car.
I can tell you how fast it'd be. I can tell you how fast it'd be. Quick. It would be.
Yeah. I mean, you think a lap in a stock car is quick here at Bristol? Oh boy. Couldn't imagine if you were in a very fast machine that has downforce.
Blink and you're at the start-finish line again.
Yeah.
That's how fast it is. So Magnus Anderson luckily got back past Kevin Winker to get up onto the second position once again. But again, trapped on that outside line. Is he going to be able to get the restart that he needs on McKellar here? A bad restart is going to be a key factor to think about. Of course, throughout this next portion of the race as well. Already 4 cautions within this first stage. This is the case of Bristol. That's very similar whenever we go to Martinsville as well, and even Langley. That often this will happen. Lap 31 of 50 though, we're back underway once again. And rolling to the inside goes McKellar to the race lead. Remember earlier this season at the All-Star race at Martinsville, we know that it was a big struggle in short tracks. Ones that bring out the cautions, and it's continuing on here. And actually, it's happening further up the road. It's Marotta with contact with Nick Mercero. The Tiramisu has caught out Mr. Marotta. Let's take this back a bit further. So you look here, he's well on the inside, holding line, big net code, contacts made. Somehow Harris avoided it. Somehow Stevens avoided it too. I don't know how Robert Stevens Jr. threaded the needle, but he needs to go to a sewing circle. That was unbelievable. Let's watch this here. On board with him. Oh my God. How? How did he avoid? The Crochet King does it again.
What an avoidance. And while we had this time under caution, because, we're probably going to have this a lot tonight here, I want to pull someone into the booth here. Someone we haven't had the chance to speak to in a while because, he just all of a sudden just decided to pop in out of nowhere.
I know. Prove to us that he actually still exists.
He exists.
Yeah, and apparently he has a wheel. Apparently he has a steering wheel again.
He does. He does. So, Posey, I see you have worked your way up to 6th after qualifying in 17th.
Yep.
And so far, it's been a bit of a caution fest. Talk us through your race so far and what your plan is going forward.
I go balls to the wall through the cautions, or not through the cautions, through the laps where we don't have a caution. Try to muscle my way through, as long as nobody's too wide in front of me, I just kind of racecraft my way through. My car has gotten a very specific point of damage where it actually races better. So I'm using that to my advantage.
Sounds like any rental car.
Heck yeah.
That sounds like any rental car to me. Posey, I assume then that we're racing on the Logitech G920, I assume, and I would also assume that next season in the trucks, Logitech's going to be a major title sponsor on board your car, possibly.
Indeed.
Oh, very good.
All right, real quick before we go back racing, Posey, thoughts on Bristol Dirt next season?
I would love it.
Okay, see, the dirt connoisseur himself. All right, Posey, well, we'll let you go before we get back racing here. Good effort so far, and good luck for the rest of the race.
See ya.
Well, you might have questioned if he enjoys Bristol Dirt. He does. Confirmed now with us. As we'll get back to the restart zone. Green flag once again.
Massive checkup on the outside already.
Oh, yep. Yep, already big checkup on the outside. Magnus Anderson drops straight to the low line, by the way, to go defensive off of that restart. And you can see in the background, Kareen and Henson struggling to battle as well, with Mike Rinker in behind them. Stephen Linger lurking with Paul Harris now up into the top 10.
Muscling out of Posey.
He's trying to muscle through. I suppose he has to, doesn't he? He's got to try and maximise his points as best he can throughout the rest of this portion. And just push this car to its absolute limits. There you see Robert Stevens Jr. as well, just lurking in the background. The avoidance that he took on that last caution, unbelievable. To see all the cautions have been coming at the back end of the field. But what we do know is netcode has been a factor in all of them, pretty much. It's been something that has been noted over the last few weeks and last few months. Something that we obviously won't be dealing with next season when we move over to the Craftsman Truck Series competition cars away from the Gen 6 Cup Series cars, so that will obviously no longer be a factor. And the one thing that we do know is about the trucks, though, Bailey, the rear end's going to be incredibly light, and we may see more self-clear spins than we've ever seen because of the lack of weight at the back of the car, saving it from going around.
Potentially, yeah. The truck is it's a very unique vehicle to drive here on the service. Yeah, with these, it's really unfortunate what's happened with these Gen 6 cars, because, I mean, these things are a lot of fun to drive, and essentially with this netcode issue, all of these cars have been given the Mike Rinker effect, where everyone's car is seemingly twice as wide as it was previously. For anyone out there that's actually driven against Mike Rinker, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I guarantee you, in the trucks, that effect will still be in play for the 9 car.
Well, he likes to block better than a Olympic level hockey goalkeeper, and we'll watch him try and use the glove and the stick sign to his advantage next season in the trucks. But right now the car's doing all the work for him. Feels like a marionette out there as he just gets led around, with Paul Harrison behind, Kareen ahead as well. And the little bit of green period we've had here has been spectacular to see. It's back to 6 laps to go now here in stage number 1, with McKellar only what would be now 5 laps away from a stage win. Not much more Magnus Anderson can do other than hope and pray. And McKellar makes a mistake in these next 5 laps, drops out of the top 10, and then points to be gained for Anderson to tighten up that championship gap heading into the next 2 weeks.
Right, and as we come up on the stage, one thing I want to note is because of all these, we've had all these cautions, these tires really haven't had a lot of green laps ran on them, so I'm curious to see if any of these guys take tires at all coming up during this caution pit cycle, or is anyone gonna take a gamble here and take 2 tires? That'd be definitely interesting to see. Well, Magnus is really trying to make that outside work here, though.
He is
coming up to the stage, and he really wants this stage win.
The unfortunate thing is, though, he wants the stage win. He's only going to have a 1-point advantage over McKellar here as he tries to now get to the inside. It's going to be 1 more lap to go on the stage. Anderson to the inside line. McKellar there as well. And the caution's been called early because has there been an incident? Or was the caution called early? There has been an incident. It was Smathers and Pruitt. But who was in the race lead when the yellow flag was brought out?
Oh, my goodness.
This is a huge moment.
A nail biter.
So this is what's happened. So Smathers was chasing down Pruitt. Contacts then made. They've both gone round.
Oh.
But we have to watch for when pit entry closes to see when.
Oh, man.
And who was
It's
in the
gonna
race
go to
lead.
McKellar.
So let's watch this. Right, that's the yellow flag. Oh my
It's gonna go to
God.
McKellar. It's wow.
McKellar is literally,
Wow.
and pardon the
That's
wording
a nose
here.
hair.
Pardon the wording, a bee's dick ahead of Magnus Anderson. There was nothing between them. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, man, I wish iRacing would tell us the timing on that because it's got to be triple zero.
Zach Smathers, meatball flag at the moment. He's going to try and bring this car into pit road. Kevin Winker's opted to stay out, opposing Kareen as well. I don't see the strategy call here for Winker. I mean, that's really... I suppose he's trying to do this in a one-stop, but when everyone can get to the stage end and take a stop, and everyone's then going to be reset, the only thing he's doing is locking cars a lap down.
Yeah. These guys are still going to have to pit because I actually got confirmation that a tank of fuel, a full tank of fuel in these conditions is 70 to 75 laps. So these guys that have just pitted here are going to have to pit again before the stage end at lap 150, unless we go caution after caution like we did this previous
So that means then it's down to a 9-gallon fuel capacity.
Yes.
Well, that would have been nice to know before the fuel strategies were made. You know, I wish these things were dictated on the race info.
Yeah.
There might be something that I mention is maybe that's actually know what the race info says in the subregs that actually says how much fuel we're using and how many laps we're actually doing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, someone will rock up on race day, make a fuel strategy thinking it's one thing, and actually it's the other. Ah, we're wrong. Well, screw us then, apparently.
Well, it's working out for one of your drivers. Paul Harris is sitting there in P7. He's doing pretty good for himself so far today.
Well, he does take 7 Ps in a day, so he's doing well to match that number. Green flag running once again. 100 laps for stage number 2. We're going out to lap 150. With the 4th lap of which has already been run. But you mentioned, Bailey, they're only going to make 75 laps. The amount of cautions we've had today, they may make it without needing another stop. The one driver that won't, though, is Kevin Winker. He's looking to take some bonus point for leading a lap. Magnus Anderson, though, fresh tyres, is going to be in the much better advantage point over Winker, although he hasn't taken tyres. He's only taken fuel. The only one to take tyres in the top end was Will McKellar. He took a full set to his name. This will help him later in the stint.
It might pay off later in the run.
It may pay off later in the run. But you then have to ask, is it truly going to pay off later? As Magnus Anderson will try and now take the race lead, knowing that McKellar has led 50 laps previously. He's going to have to lead more than that if he wants to limit the bonus point opportunity for Will McKellar here today. In towards turn 3 and 4. He'll lead them around 4.
These boys keep racing side by side like this. That tire advantage is going to come into play here for McKellar.
It will. But ultimately, he's then still going to be able to find a way around. He'll get past Charles Rinker. Kevin Winker on the outside going to try and hold him up. Magnus Anderson trying to get this job done. McKellar will try and help his teammate if he can. We'll see if Charles Rinker looks to help his future teammate in Magnus Anderson. He might, but that's going to be quite ballsy to pull off. It's very early in the stage.
These guys are getting dicey.
They're
getting racy here at Bristol.
But this is the point now where you've got to pick your battles. And I think Magnus is trying to pick his battles to change lanes and pull out of it. There was no point trying to hold the inside. He's going to waste tires.
Those tires working to McKellar's advantage. He just rockets around the outside of Winker there.
90 laps to go in this stage. You know you've got to be able to manage your tires. You're going to manage the wear on them. Knowing that they're probably going to be a caution, you'll get the gap back up again. Save the rubber you've got and try and hold on to it as best you can. Paul Harris, by the way, has had a meatball flag and he's had to come back in the pit lane. I don't know what's caused it. Something has happened, though, for him to have been passed by a lot of the field. This looks to be what actually happened. Down here to Paul. Oh!
Wow, he just tagged the apron. That's One thing about Bristol, you better be careful of that apron because it is treacherous. It will shoot you back up the track just like that, and into pit road he has to come.
Well, it's like trying to cook in Hell's Kitchen. Incredibly hard to hang on to at the best of times. You see Mike Rinker now has now gotten past Magnus Anderson, so now it is a 9.25 racing 1.23. At the moment, Mike Rinker on the fresh tyres is starting to push that car through to this stage of the race. And he's now up into P2 as he looks to chase down Will McKellar. Kevin Winker, though, in trouble and strife with Magnus Anderson down the inside as they continue to push these cars on. Maybe Winker knows that he can get this car far enough that he can get to the stage end on the one stop instead of wasting time in pit lane.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's aiming for.
His thought process here.
Well,
I think so too.
He's got 10 laps. If he makes another 10 laps, he's good. He can come in and it'll be fine. But that's tough. That's going to be tough as lap 6-7 ends, lap 68 begins. And one driver that's hoping to find some pace today, although has been in the wars already today, but has been avoiding them too. It is the driver of the 6-7 machine in Robert Stevens Jr. as he battles here with Nick Mercero just at the back or mid to back end of the top 10. Will McKellar leads the way at the moment to Mike Rinker, and then it's Magnus Anderson in P3. Charles Rinker starting to hold up. Kevin Winker, Dalton Henson, Robert Stevens Jr., Nick Mercero as well. Dalton will also be Charles's teammate next season. Bit of an upgraded category for that team, who look to be fully focused on trying to win the championship together again. Unfortunately, life has gotten in the way of Joe Dyson to have been able to have raced frequently, which is unfortunate for Joe. We know that and hope we can get Joe back on the circuit with us again in future because of, it's unfortunate when life gets in the way of you and you can't make it to racing, and completely understanding of that, obviously. But then there's John, who is just lazy and doesn't want to show up. So
yeah, there's just lazy old John.
Yeah.
If you ask him, he'll say he's at your mom's house somewhere probably, or something like that.
Probably will. Oh, Charles is struggling right now though. He's struggling for pace for whatever reason on the inside line, and that's to let all those cars go through.
I'm wondering if he's hit the wall a little too hard. It looks like he may have either have wheel damage or he may have overcooked those tires a little bit. By the way, that car scraping, it looks like he might have slapped the wall a little too hard. I did see him hit the wall a couple laps ago.
Well,
so it's possible that
you say that.
Yeah, he's got damage. I can see it.
Well, I was going to say, say that. That part of the car hasn't hit the wall though, because that's the inside part. So the outside's hit the wall and offset the car.
Look at that right front. Look at that right front sticking out like that. I think he's got damage.
Very well may do.
More than just camber.
Yeah, that car's got some bad damage on it for Charles Rinker. So yeah, we wish Joe Dyson the best and hope we see him again on circuit with us again in future. In John Roberts'
Joe's always
case,
fun to race with.
Oh yeah, but in John Roberts' case, he can stay home.
Yeah. He could find the extra letter to his name while he's gone.
Yeah. Magnus Anderson now going to start to feel the pressure here from Nick Mercero, Robert Stevens Jr. and Dalton Henson battling as well. And then it's back to Kevin Winker, who's trying to fuel save this car. He has fuel saved it enough though, Bailey. He just needs to make the next 70 laps of the race and he'll actually make it home in the stage. But I think he's trying to guarantee it by getting to lap 80. And when he gets to lap 80, we may see him come in. He's probably waiting for a caution. He doesn't want to have to pit under green. But it's getting down to strife time here, because the issue for Kevin is if he goes a lap down, caution comes out, everyone comes into pit lane for their next stop, but one person stays out, he's cooked because he'll get trapped a lap down. Yep. So this is...
If he even is good.
He has to pit.
He did stay out on the. He did stay out during the stage, did he not?
He did. He has stayed out under the stage.
Has he pitted at all?
No, he hasn't. He has not pitted at all.
Yeah, so he's gonna
He's got this car to the. He's fuel saved. He's fuel saved enough to get to the point that he can get to the stage end. The trouble is he's waiting for a caution because he wants to be able to come in for free, knowing that everyone else is also going to have to come in. The issue is if he comes in and then it goes yellow once he's up, because he's going to go multiple laps down. Remember, he'll go 2 laps down. This is becoming an issue for Kevin now, and that's the issue with pushing the envelope a little bit too far in terms of his strategy.
Right.
Where I think he's pushed it that a little bit too far in terms of playing the gamble here today. Will McKellar is just caught up to some lap traffic. He's got Jonathan Day to deal with just a moment, as well as Steve Scarborough as he gets past both of them around turn 2.
I mean, McKellar's knocking on the door of the top 10 to start lapping those guys, so those new tires really paying off for McKellar here.
That's then going to be another issue.
Made a mistake.
That's going to be another issue.
Yeah.
Kevin Winker's going to be at risk of actually going a lap down just on the circuit before he even gets into pit lane, which would then put him 3 laps down after the stop. So this is going to be this has probably been a bit of a throw for Kevin Winker in terms of trying to maintain a championship possible winning position, knowing where he's placed himself. Obviously, we know though, Bailey, we've still got more than half the race to go here today, as Winker is finally in the pit
road right now.
Yeah, he's finally in, but it was as McKellar came past him, so he has now gone a lap down. Marotta's also in, so the difficulty for Winker, the fact that he's gone into pit lane under green, is this going to lock him a lap down later in the race when inevitably we may get another caution? There's McKellar. That'll be another lap put on him. So that's now 2 laps that he's down as he gets past Kareen. Yep. Winker's about to exit the pit lane now, and he's at risk of going 3 laps down once McKellar comes through.
Yeah. I really hope Winker took tires here, because that's the only way he can offset this strategy. Because if McKellar comes, because McKellar's okay, good. Because McKellar's gonna have to come in later. We'll say around lap 75-ish of this stage. He'll have to come in, take tire, or assumedly take tires. Because if he doesn't, then Winker's gonna offset him, and then he's gonna be, or McKellar's gonna be at a severe disadvantage. So. Already, though, Winker is at an advantage to McKellar because he has 40 lap pressure tires under green than McKellar here.
Offsetting a strategy at the moment, by the way. Magnus Anderson's coming to pit lane. So he's trying to cut this first sort of 2 stages in half. He's into pit road with 60 laps to go in this stage. Maybe to get some fresh rubber on the car and get somewhat of an advantage over Will McKellar.
Oh, yeah, and Winker's already half a second quicker than McKellar. On lap 91, McKellar ran a 15.9. Winker was running a 15.4. So McKellar is, even though he's 2 laps in front of these guys, he's already at a disadvantage because he's still going to have to come down pit road. Winker is not going to have to come down pit road.
Do you see that differential? Remembering how far back Kevin Winker was on Magnus Anderson, was nearly out to 6 seconds. Winker is on the tail of Magnus now after that pit stop strategy.
Oh, yeah.
So now it's on, because all of a sudden these guys are running on fresh rubber with much faster lap times available to them than Will McKellar and Mike Rinker at the front end of town. So even though the top 6 positions have all taken tyres previously...
Oh,
but hard in the world! How in the hell?
No.
How has that happened to Magnus Anderson?
That car is destroyed.
And how detrimental is this to the championship? You saw him catch the apron.
Goodness.
We saw it earlier on in the race with Paul Harris. And it's the same scenario for the 7 car.
Oh my goodness! I think he just shoved it into the corner too hard. I don't even think he clipped the apron there. We're still green, so this is still good for Winker. Not very good for McKellar. McKellar wanted that caution to come out there. That is such a hard hit. Oh yeah, he just overdrove the corner. He didn't hit the apron. He overdrove the corner, tried hitting the brakes, and I will say Bristol is very deceptive in the way that it makes you think that you can push into the corner a little harder than you really can, because if you push too hard, Bristol's going to bite you, and it's going to shove you right into that wall, as we just saw with Magnus. That is a tough break for Magnus there.
And that may be race over for Magnus Anderson, because he's in pit lane. That car is not getting fixed with its fast repair. That may be race done. And ultimately, that's championship done. It's gone.
Potentially.
because
I wouldn't say it's gone just yet.
He's got it fixed. So it's fixed. He'll get back out there. He's got to get that car to the end of the race because he's just got to try and get points. Opposes you now with a meatball. Mike Rinker's got a meatball as well. So it's all happening. More and more drivers are getting into strife and getting into trouble. And you'd have to assume... Actually, Magnus had a tow. That's why he took so long in pit lane. You'd have to assume that the reason for these meatball flags is more and more drivers are clipping the wall. Kareen's trying to get the car back to pit lane. Mike Rinker's in. This is a crucial game of strategy. And you've got to play the strategy correctly. The one thing that Will McKellar does not want to do is make the same mistake that his competitors have made. Because he cannot afford to give up points today. He gets maximum points today. He writes his name in the history books. He puts his name early on the Etch-a-Sketch of putting it on the trophy. That is what he's looking for. Mercereau, Stevens, Pruitt. That is the top four. And the one thing that we may see, if a caution comes out, Bailey, we may see some strategy here by one of those drivers. We may see them stay out to lock the whole field 2 laps down, except for the lucky dog.
if you wanna get a bet on the bad side of everybody in the field, just pull that strategy. And the one person out there right now that's bold enough to pull that strategy is the 42 of Rinker, who unfortunately himself is 2 laps down. But if I was Pruitt, Stevens, or Mercereau, I mean, I hate to be that guy, but I might be that guy if a caution comes out.
It's strategy, isn't it? It's a strategy game.
It is. It is strategy. It's a legitimate strategy call. I mean, I think it's unfortunate. It's really gonna. I won't lie. It's gonna piss a lot of people off. But
but then you've got to ask them. Then you've got to ask them. Would you do the same thing?
Exactly.
If you're in my position, would you do the same thing? And if they say no, they're lying to you.
They're lying. They're lying.
And as soon as they realize that they would do it themselves, it's the pot calling the kettle black.
Yep.
Like
Exactly.
It's legitimately. How can you even claim that? Then you can't.
Exactly. No, you cannot. I will tell you though, as I look at my entry list, I see all these meatballs. You know, it's got me asking, are we serving spaghetti tonight? Because we have a lot of meatballs, and I'm not seeing any spaghetti.
Okay, DiGiorno boy trying to get food references in there. Trust me, I've played that game before. The food jokes are going to get old very, very quick for yourself. Don't worry about that. Yeah, you're going to get a slice of it if you're not careful.
I see what you did there. Okay.
Yeah, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. Although, unfortunately for you, it's DeBorno. I don't know where I was going with that one. I was trying to say boring.
It's okay.
Or born. I don't even know. I don't know. We're off the rails today. I'm ill. I've caught a cold because my father decided to cough all over the house and not cover it up. Really inconsiderate, if you ask me, Bailey. Really inconsiderate, but anyway. We're getting some tight battles all throughout the race, though, already, which is good to see. Paul Harris, Charles Rinker, these guys are battling hard in and amongst the traffic, mind you. We are still waiting on the top 3 to come into pit lane because Will McKellar has nearly lapped the whole field. He's lapped up to Robert Stevens Jr., who is the last car on the lead lap at the moment. Cody Pruitt has now been passed by the race leader. There's Rob Stevens. There is McKellar down at turn 4. So it's about a straightaway's difference between them of keeping this battle in check at this stage of the race. But what we've seen thus far is Bristol has been a tough task for these drivers today. And I've noticed another thing as well, Bailey. The driver that sponsored this race, Trey Martin, is not here racing in his own race.
Oh, really? Really? I did not know he sponsored this race.
He did.
Where is he?
But he's not here racing.
That's very interesting. I'm not certain as to why that may be. Surely we'll have to hunt him down and get some answers out.
Oh, yellow flag.
Oh no.
Yellow flag, another caution here today, and this time it's Dalton Henson, one of the chase drivers Future Bucket Motor Club member. He's paid the membership for next season, but it looks to be possible contact with Mercero. And actually, I think it happened when I had the blink. He's then caught up in front of Smathers, and around he's gone and nearly trapped on the embankment there, and that is what has brought out our caution.
That's unfortunate. I do think...
so does anyone stay out? Hang on, Bailey, does anyone stay out? If you're Mercero, surely you stay out here. Come on, stay out. Do the filthy thing. No, they're coming in. No. Trap him a lap down. But Rinker, hang on, Winker's going to get the wave around. Rinker will trap them all lap down because he'll stay out.
No, so the guys that are a lap down are going to get a wave around here because
it shouldn't be all of them, though. It should only be the lucky dog.
Nope, it will be anybody who is, I guess, behind the pace car. So anybody that's behind the pace car and not behind a lead lap car will get a wave around. So since all the lead lap cars pit, whoever's a lap down and so on back. So if they're 2 laps down and they didn't pit, they'll get a wave around and they'll get their lap back. But it's looking like we got some lappers that are unfortunately in a position where they're gonna have to pit. And I knew that we were at a stage in this race where if a caution came out, it really wouldn't have mattered, because McKellar was going to have to pit because we're coming close to that 70 lap mark. There's no way he makes it to the stage. I think after we cross lap 50 of the stage, there's no way he makes it to the end of the stage unless we go caution after caution. And it'll actually be very detrimental for him to stay out. Well, you know,
he is the race leader.
To have seen it.
He is the race leader to this point. Actually, some drivers are. So this is actually a very contaminated field. So he's got Charles Rinker ahead of him.
So Rinker forward,
who is
those
1
guys
lap down. Well, that you say that. Well, the issue here is like Cody Pruitt. I suppose is 1 lap down, but Rinker's 2 laps down,
well,
so that's why.
So there they go. There they go, getting their wave around.
So they're still going to be 1 lap down, though. They're still 1 lap down. The top 4 are the only cars on the lead lap.
No, they'll get their lap back. They'll be on the lead lap.
No, they won't. They were 2 laps down. Pruitt is 1 lap down, and he's behind the race leader.
Well, that's because he pitted.
Yes, so everyone behind Pruitt is 1 lap down.
Well, I think I saw before.
We're going to go green. The top 4 are the only cars. The top 4 are the only cars in the lead lap. McKellar, Mercero, Stevens, and Rinker are the only 4 cars on the lead lap of this race. Everyone else is 1 or more laps down. So the caution has come out at the perfect time for McKellar to get an absolute whirlwind advantage. The reason for this, and I can explain why, Bailey, is whenever you pit at this circuit, you go 2 laps down. So because of that, you're always going to be 1 lap down if the caution comes out.
Eventually, unless we're in another scenario where McKellar has to pit.
It's a magical scenario for McKellar. He won't need to pit again unless unless the car gets an incident and he injures the car.
Yep.
If this car stays clean, we're going to finish this race with a bare minimum probably 8 cars on the lead lap, because some will get their lap back at the next stage, or at least one will.
This isn't unheard of. We'll say there was a cup race at Bristol not too long ago, a couple years back, still the next gen car, where only 5 cars finished on the lead lap. I mean, it's not entirely uncommon here at Bristol for a lot of cars to be a lap down.
That's right, and it does happen. I mean, I've seen short track racing where the race leader's the only car left on the lead lap. I mean,
yep,
it happens. It does happen.
And we had a road course race this season at Sonoma where only 2 cars were on the lead lap at the end of the race.
Yeah, but that was more so a skill issue more than the track. I mean,
yeah. It absolutely was. I mean, you're asking a bunch of oval guys to turn right, and it was
with what was
also
a difficult road course setup as well. Posey Kareem, by the way, is out of this race. I believe he has now pulled out of the.
He is disconnected.
Yeah, that is now here today.
So I will say it is still realistically for the guys that are only a lap down right now to get back into the race, and the guys that are a lap down, such as Pruitt, Day, Rinker, and Henson, these guys are fighting for a lucky dog spot. So their race is not entirely done because we do have that guaranteed caution coming up in about 20 laps. So these guys they're still fighting for something. It's not like their race is entirely over.
Well, there's a caution right there.
Caution.
And it's Kevin Rinker. Kevin Rinker has had a moment. And it's with Paul Harris, it seems. So Harris is on the outside. Rinker trying to get by him here. Oh, got loose. Straight across the nose of Harris. Net code. And Rinker goes around. So Cody Pruitt now get his lucky dog. So there's one more car on the lead lap.
And that's not what McKellar wants to see. And Pruitt's a chase competitor, so...
Yeah, but it's okay. He's got plenty of points separating himself and Pruitt at the moment.
Yep.
If we think back to what the current championship standings are for him to this point in time, we look back to where Pruitt is. It's nearly 100 points difference between Pruitt and McKellar. So
one thing I want to make note of is we've seen even with Magnus here tonight, at a moment's notice, anything can happen. It can change it.
Magnus is out. He's in the pit lane. 12 minutes of previous repairs. His race is now done. His championship arguably is done because he's not going to score points today other than those chase points, those stage points. He's going to be 100 points behind McKellar. His championship's over for Anderson. And you can argue as well, this championship is probably over now for everyone. If McKellar next week at Phoenix gets maybe even only 20 points, he'll win. He'll win the championship one round earlier. And we'll go to Charlotte again with a champion that's already been crowned. And Charlotte then will become a showcase race once more. Where the championship... and the whole point of bringing in the chase was to limit that from happening. So maybe, just maybe, we might think about having a chase where points reset every week, and you just get bonus points based on if you win.
Sounds more like a playoff system. I don't know if I'm a fan of that.
You don't knock people out though in that scenario. You just keep them in. Everyone just resets every week.
Yeah, but I think the system we have now is fine. I think this is just an anomaly where McKellar he's just had a perfect chase so far. And I think that, up until this point, we've seen great seasons from Rinker and Magnus, and not really a whole lot out of McKellar in terms of, I guess, nothing really in spectacular fashion, if you will. But I think, he's just gotten hot at the right moment, and everyone else has just fallen off a cliff. So,
well, let's see how they go. As the pace truck will come in very violently, by the way, into pit lane. We'll get back to green flag running once again.
He said, "Get me off this track."
He said, "Get me." The pace trucks run more laps than Justin McCurdy, Blake Hullett at this stage of the race. Those drivers only made it as far as lap 25. Will McKellar at the moment leads the way. Kevin Rinker P2, Nick Merceau in P3 at this point. Actually, I want to see how many laps have we run under caution. 32 laps. The pace truck has run more laps than Blake Hullett today and Justin McCurdy. It has legitimately run more laps than Hullett or McCurdy today. What's the starting park distance, Bailey?
I believe it is 15% of the race. So I think the pace truck is on. I think he's potentially met that mark yet already, or is on pace to. I think it's possible that we may have to award our pace truck some points after this race. So that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for those guys that didn't make it to the end of the first stage.
Well, if we do some quick maths and figure this out, we might be able to get it. If we can, so...
See, one of the days has just unlapped himself.
So, just so you know, if the pace truck does 5.5 more laps, he will get to start and park. So, so the good news for Magnus is he has start and parked. He's got points for first stage, and then we'll get points for a start and park. Same for Posey Kareen. And then for Damon Marotta, who is out as well. And then Mike Rinker is the last car that's left on the circuit. So we're actually down to 14 cars in this race. Everyone up to P15 is out, although Magnus Anderson's sitting in pit lane. Relatively speaking, he's out of it at this stage. 7 laps to go, though, in the stage. Kevin Winker is back up now to P2. He's battling with Rob Stevens Jr. We saw this car on the wall not too long ago in this race. Great to have everyone watching with us as well. Brian saying earlier on that Magnus was shoving it in too hard. Damn, Bailey, that's... You ever thought about lubricant of some kind?
Well, I have no answer for that one. Maybe Magnus could provide us with some. I don't know what all he's got in that stash of his that we were talking about pre-race.
Well, one thing we do know is this third stage of this race is going to be an interesting one. Obviously, we've got 5 cars on the lead lap. There's only going to be 6 on the lead lap once this stage caution comes out in 3 laps' time. We didn't actually make the stage distance last time. We cautioned early because of an incident. So if we make it to the end of this stage, it'll be the first time we actually do go a full stage distance here today. We'll see what occurs, though, as they come round. We've got 2 laps to go.
I think we don't want to count out the fact that, well, one is that some of these guys could still potentially get another wave around here. The thing is about Bristol is that there are many ways to go a lap down here. However, it's also...
Oh, I was about to say there are many ways to go a lap down, but watch this though. Rob Stevens Jr., this is 4th position with McKellar. He tried to go for it at the very end of this stage. They'll come around to the start-finish line. Stage 2 will end. We'll wait for the top 10 to cross the line. Paul Harris is the last car inside of the 10. The caution will come out here, Bailey. Very easy to go a lap down here. The lucky part is, for the lucky dog Dalton Henson, he'll get his lap back and he'll go back onto the lead lap of this race.
Well, also, I want to mention is that cautions are aplenty here at Bristol typically, and that's very good news for those that are fighting for that lucky dog. And if I'm those guys that are maybe 2 or 3 laps down and I'm still thinking about, man, I could probably get back into this, I would think about staying out in opportunities where you can get a wave around. And it is entirely possible if someone finds themselves 2 laps down, it is very possible that they actually end up back on the lead lap if we go caution after caution like we did in that first stage.
Well, Kevin Winker's come straight in. Scarborough, Rinker are in as well. Wondering here, so some cars are actually going to be staying out. McKellar possibly deliberately staying out here to lock cars a lap down. Think about this though. They can't make it home from this point of the race. Their last pitted on lap 119. They can go out as far as lap 184. So, knowing they can... 194. Which means they would have 56 laps to go in this race, needing fuel at that point. I don't hate the strategy here of McKellar. Knowing that you're always going to need one more, you can make it as far enough to get home. You're not going to make it home from here with 100 laps to go. So for those that are actually staying out, this is smart strategy. What it also is, though, is it's them locking the majority of the field 1 lap down, lessening the extent of cars that can challenge you for your race win.
Yep. Yeah, one thing I want to make note of right now, and I actually want to pull someone into the booth real quick. Cody Pruitt had a really rough start to this race, and while we have just a little bit of time, I kind of want to pull him in the booth and have a quick chat to him. So here we go. Cody, you got a copy? Hey. Yeah. So you're currently sitting here in 4th place right now. We saw that you had a pretty rough start to this race, but you've must have found some fortune in your early misfortunes, because you find that the rest of the field is struggling being a lap down, and you're sitting here in P4. We're about to go back green here, but real quick, give us some thoughts. Give us some of your thoughts on the race so far, on your race in particular.
Now, breaking point is a big thing in this race, and just people missing them. It is what Absolutely. It is. Me and Zach are still going to be buds, But I think Pitt, me going back in to get tires after fixing my damage, kind of helped me out. Sped me up a little bit.
Well, we're going green. Up there, we'll.
Yep.
We'll throw you back.
We might actually get a caution straight away here because Mike Rinker's actually gone straight in the barrier off the restart. And that car is going very, very slow. This was off the restart here for Mike Rinker. Let's watch this back. So he's starting alongside his brother. And Zach comes down, but then actually gets a knock off of Brian Day. That's what actually puts him into the wall. So that's not a good sight for Mike Rinker at this stage of the race. Back up and running again, 93 laps to go. Final stage of today's proceedings. Top 6 are on the lead lap to this stage. The Days of Brian and Jonathan. And then the next two are a lap down. Then it's Charles Rinker, Paul Harris inside of the top 10. Linger, Smathers, Scarborough, Rinker. And then everyone else is out to this stage of Marotta, Kareen, Anderson, Hullett, McCurdy and Cole. All out of this race to this point in time. And I have to think this might be Mike Rinker's race done as well.
Potentially, and one thing I'll go ahead and apologize to Cody there once you watch this back, or if you watch this back. We don't have a lot of time here under caution. I really like bringing up people to the booth, give them some time to talk, and tell us how their race is going. But I think you got a little distracted, just trying to give us thoughts on that restart there. So that might be my mistake there, but. McKellar out to a strong restart so far. I got to wonder if he's going to carry this thing to the end.
Well, we'll see if he does. We'll see if he can. We know that a strong performance now for McKellar could win him the championship very early on in the season. He could win it as early as next week if he maintains these points that he was looking to get today. Kevin Wink is managing to hang on to some points. We know that Kevin's not going to be here next week. They're using a provisional. So the difficulty now becomes Kevin had to actually drop the gap that was between himself and McKellar, knowing that he is dropping 45 points at maximum next week. I actually know more than that, 50 points possibly next week because provisional's worth 15. So knowing that he's possibly giving up 50 points at Phoenix to McKellar, he had to gain points today. If McKellar goes on to win next week with perfect points, he'll win the championship early because of the points differential between himself and Kevin Winker.
Not doing himself favors here, losing positions here. You see Pruitt trying to make a move here.
No, he's not.
Man.
And that's then the difficulty that's starting to arise for these drivers is they know that the longer this goes on, the more likely we could be crowning a champion next week. And then looking at the Charlotte Classic again 2 seasons in a row as a showcase race more so than a championship finale that we were hoping for. What happens then? Well, maybe some tinkering has to then be done in the background to try and change up how things are determined and how the championship is determined as well. To wait and see.
Maybe just the in-race point system. However,
possibly.
It also begs the question: do we change the name of the Charlotte Classic to the Charlotte Classic Showcase? Because for the past 2 seasons, there hasn't really been much on the line.
Oh, I think the points. have honestly just been I don't think
another caution just came out.
But it has, and this time it's Zach Smathers who's actually brought out this caution. Boy. I think, Bailey, the difficulty is I think the point system actually lends itself too much to allowing a champion to kind of run away with things very quickly, or a driver to run away with things very quickly, as that's how the cautions come out. And I think a point system which actually focuses on keeping it close but keeping it competitive and still benefiting a race winner, I think that is something to look at and something to look to.
Potentially. And well, we sit here, we do say that, but I will make note that, who had the advantage going into the chase was the number 42 was Kevin Winker.
And the fact that he's missing a race is his own fault, and that's the thing that's kind of really losing him the championship ultimately. So then that begs the question, do you then implement drop rounds, right? Where drivers miss rounds and they can drop one. I think in the chase, for sure, you have a drop round. You have one round be dropped.
I don't know, because
droppable.
I think it's one of those situations where, there are multiple ways of looking at this. I mean, me personally, I'm of the perspective of sometimes life gets in the way. That's unfortunate. There aren't.
But unfortunately, a provisional does nothing, right? A provisional does nothing because it doesn't though, because you miss a round. You're losing points anyway, right? So in the case of Kevin Winker missing next week, if it was a droppable round for him, he'd be losing nothing because that's his drop round. It's fine. He just maintains whatever points he's on after tonight, leading into Charlotte. You make Charlotte undroppable. McKellar, because it cannot be dropped, is gaining what could be 50 points for free over Rinker because Rinker's not racing. You know, life gets in the way sometimes. You don't always know when you're going to miss a race. Drop rounds are the greatest thing that will keep your championship close. I can tell you that personal experience.
It's something that, right, and I think it's something that we'll have to talk about going into Season 3. We'll have a nice break in between seasons after this one's over. So we'll have plenty of time to talk things through. I know we have a lot to learn from this season as admins. You know, so far season's gone pretty well. You know, the racing has been great aside from the netcode. But yeah, we're gonna look at the system. I don't know if we may keep it, we may not. We'll definitely consider all ideas, but you definitely bring up some significant points to consider. But yeah, we're about to get back racing here.
Well, let's see what happens as Will McKellar will lead us to the start-finish line. It's green flag once again here at Bristol as lap 174 is underway, 77 laps to go. So in fact, Bailey, we're actually 2 laps away from critical lap here today. We are 2 laps away from pit stops becoming a factor of cars possibly being able to make it home. You notice Dalton Henson pitted on lap 170 off of these cautions. Very interesting call for him. He could possibly fuel save this car to the end. Same for Kevin Winker back in P6.
You only have to save a couple laps.
Well, that's right.
Not hard to do here.
And for John Day, he's in the same position as well. And the more cautions that come out, the easier that's then going to become. And the more cautions that come out, of course, the more cars that go onto the lead lap. Charles Rinker is now the next lucky dog in position to try and take that as well. Rhiannon in the chat saying, God damn, reading these damn late. Bailey said Magnus shoved it in too hard and took too long of a pause before saying into the wall. Of course, I do know that. And Rhiannon saying as well, you may be sick, but it doesn't protect you from being bullied by me. Well, thank you for bullying me in the chat. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody watching along with us as well. And if you guys are enjoying it too here today, well, the end of the season is coming, and it's not too far from happening. We're only 2 rounds to go in this season, but Season 3 is on coming towards you with the Craftsman trucks available to us next season in the Truck Series for High Side Motorsports. It'd be a slightly different form of branding for you. You'll be looking for the red branding of High Side Motorsports instead of the blue for the Premier Series. It's now changing for next season. That'll be starting up at the start of October. It's one thing we can look forward to for sure with McKellar running around at the moment. We know the next season is going to be tough. There have been some decisions made on what circuit will be ran instead of Coda West. We'll be heading out to Road America for the short circuit later in the season. It'll be something I want to be chatting to you about actually post-race here, Bailey, is the formation of that calendar, but actually a few ideas I've had here today. So that'll be interesting to talk about post-race. 69 nice laps to go here at the Macho Ham 250 out at Bristol Motor Speedway. Of course, we are doing plenty of laps here today. 250 laps, of course, finds us racing for 125 miles. That's difficult to find when you're racing around here. Difficult to do in a short span of time. Katie Pruitt in behind Dalton Henson at the moment. This battle continues on hard as well. We're going to take a moment here just to go to our RCR, Rinker Construction Remodeling, Crank It Up segment for the next portion of this race. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back very, very shortly with more here out of Bristol in the Macho Ham 250. It's the 3rd chase with 2 rounds to go in the next 2 weeks.
while all these other boys are playing checkers.
Let's get as many points as we can. It all starts right here. Are you ready?
And the green flag is in the air. Here they come, storming to turn one. This is incredible!
Can he get it done? The grandstands are going wild.
Yeah, let's go, baby!
Hell yeah, boys! They're crashing mid-pack. Checkered flag is out.
What a finish, boys.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
We now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
.52 laps to go here at Bristol Motor Speedway as we're back underway once again off of our Rinker construction remodeling crank it up segment once again and back into the final 50 odd laps of this race here. Hamish Munro here with you, Bailey Brannan alongside once again. I want to give a shout out of course to our series sponsors as always, Maconi Setup Shop, as well to Rinker Construction Remodeling RCR, as well to some wonderful supporters as well as Safe Electric and Plumbing at callsafe.com as well. And to everyone else out there watching along, you can help support us here at Infinity Broadcasting by clicking the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon as well, so you get notified whenever we go racing right here on the channel. We also want to give a shout out to LifePath Realty as well, serving the greater Metro Atlanta area, and as well to Black Art Designs too. If you want to get yourself a paint made, get yourself one done. For myself, message me over on Trading Paints at Hamish Munro or on Instagram at HM_Injexion. That's at HM_INJEXION. We'll get you sorted with some very competitive pricing and some lovely looking liveries out there as well. Will McKellar, though, in dominant form position. He's less than 50 laps away from the race's end. Less than 50 laps away from possibly putting one hand on the championship trophy 2 weeks early as Charles Rinker riding high up in the wall. That car is not healthy at the moment. And he did not take tyres on his last run through pit lane at lap 152.
Oh my goodness. He's definitely ripping the wall.
As McKellar is now into pit lane. So final stop for McKellar. Pruitt's in 2. So what sort of strategy play is the likes of Rinker and others going to be doing here? Because Rinker's going to try and fuel save this thing to the end. We know he's capable of saving 4 laps. That's all he needs, 4 laps of fuel. Henson's come in, so he's committing to the stop. Rinker's going to try and fuel save this. He will have 2 laps advantage over fresh tyre running McKellar. Can he hang on to it? There's Rinker right there. He'll put the second lap over McKellar, but the true gap is about 1.5 laps. 1.5 laps distance between what will be the corrected race leader, Rob Stevens in as well, what will be the corrected race leader, and the lucky dog car of Will McKellar.
So very interesting development we have going on here with Rinker, who will take the race lead. One thing I want to make note of, and this slipped our coverage earlier, but we had a driver removed from the racing server earlier, roughly about 50 laps ago. Something we must have missed prior to our...
Was that Brian Day?
Brian Day. The 70 of Brian Day was removed.
Why was he removed?
It assumedly radio chatter. That's what race control log states. But what it looks like, it looks like there was an incident between him and the 5, and it was initially.
Oh my God!
Day is hard. Oh my God! Well, speaking of the days...
So Jonathan Day gets really loose, somehow misses the race leader, Kevin Rinker, catches Mike Rinker into it.
God! That was
ginormous. So we mentioned the incident that happened with Smathers earlier. This is the incident you're speaking about with Brian Day. So Smathers is driving...
Initially deemed as net code, but there was radio chatter that led race control to believe that this was intentional.
Paul Harris is also going to meet Paul as well, by the way. So, so Kevin Winker's come in. So Rinker has come in to get that car serviced, and he'll get back out there. Couldn't have come at a better time for him, because it'll trap Charles Rinker a lap down once again. Will McKellar, is he going to get back past? He will. So McKellar will get past Rinker. But Rinker, crucially, is up in P2.
And he just took those fresh tires.
Yep, and is a lap ahead of those that are in front of them, but they will get their lap back for Stevens, Mercer, Henson, and Pruitt. But crucially, he's on fresh tires.
Wow. Are we able to look back at that incident with the 69? That was a ridiculous hit. I mean, that was just... I just need to... We need to dissect this one. This was crazy.
So it's the same thing we've already seen today for the likes of Magnus Anderson and Charles Rinker. Wow.
Just sends it in too hard.
Too hard, and then across, somehow missed. Kevin Rinker was legitimately a millisecond away from destroying his car in the line of that one right there, Jonathan Day.
That is a nasty hit. You got to assume that his day is over.
Oh, it will be. You got to assume his day is over. His night's over.
Oh, man.
And, unfortunately for him, it looks to be that his father's day is over too, and Brian Day, and that his day in the series may be over too after getting removed from a race. So we'll see.
Potentially.
Well,
we'll have to further inspect that one. I mean, that's going to be one that's going to be looked at post-race. We don't know exactly. I mean, I don't know exactly. I can't hear the radio chatter. I have it muted, but that is very interesting.
Well, this is our 11th
I will say
of the race, by the way.
Tempers will flare at Bristol.
They will. Also, we can officially count the pace car as making start and park here, Bailey. It's done 44 laps of this race. So the pace truck is getting points. There's a back to green flag running once again. Kevin Rinker now in the race lead as he's gotten past Will McKellar somehow. He'll lead the way. He needs points, but he needs McKellar to drop to the back. He needs McKellar to be a non-finisher to get literal start and park points today. That's what he wants for Will McKellar, just to try and offset the points slightly.
Stage points, though, so it's going to be really difficult to make up any gap. But it looks like those fresh tires are coming into play here already. Getting a nice lead over McKellar here. Already hopping out the 0.6 of a second.
So if we think about where they finished in the first two stages, McKellar's on 20 points today. Rinker finished third in both, so he's given up 4 points today total.
Not bad, not the worst. It could be worse. But he's really gonna need.
Well, he could have given up. He could have given up 20.
Really chip at that lead.
Well, he could have given up 20 points, which would have been completely detrimental.
Yep.
But yeah, he needs McKellar to finish with the non-finishers. Basically, he needs to be back with Mike Rinker, who is 32 laps down. That's where he needs him to be. And what we do know is 30 laps to go. Mike has only got so many cars he can now pass, including Jonathan Day, Steve Scarborough, Zach Smathers, who are multiple laps down, and for Paul Harris as well. So as these laps tick on by, that's actually less positions that Mike Rinker can now make up. This will pretty much put a line through his name in terms of the chase and possibly winning the championship.
Really pushing hard.
He's pushing real hard, is Will McKellar, onto Kevin Rinker, 325 Racing, wanting to win this championship. And we recall back to the start of the chase, nobody thought Will McKellar was going to be let alone the race winner, but let alone the chase winner at the start of this thing. He's proven them wrong over the last 2 weeks, and tonight he's proving them wrong once again. With only a few more laps until Mike Rinker is locked out from making any more positions up in this race. He is now locked out of it, so he will have to finish P13. Mike cannot make up any more spots in this race. That will put a line through his name in terms of this championship here, Bailey. Unfortunately for him, that's two more drivers now tonight that we've put a line through, Anderson and Rinker, who unfortunately are out of the championship.
It's unfortunate. As of this moment, their chases are over. They're really going to need McKellar to have an unfortunate week. We've seen it throughout the season. We've seen McKellar, running in the top 5 towards the end of a race, and then something towards the end of the race or on the last lap as he makes a dive-bombing pass here on his teammate, Kevin Rinker. But we've seen him finish outside of the top 10 on a late race mistake. So they're going to need that to happen again, but even then, it's just going to cut into the lead. It's not going to knock him out of it.
Well, it's the 42 versus the 92 of 325 Racing. If you're wondering what 325 Racing stands for, I heard that Bailey Brannan has the answers for us. Why is it called 325 Racing, Bailey?
I don't know who told you I have the answer. I don't know. I have no idea why it's called 325
I got no idea either. I thought it might have been all their numbers added together, but I've just done the quick arithmetic in my head, and no, it's nowhere near all of their
maybe all the cars got into a crash together, and all the numbers were just scattered all over the place, and somehow out of that they pulled out 325. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe they had John Roberts.
If they put all their numbers together, it equates to 167.
Look, all I'm gonna say is that they had to have had some help with this name from the man without an H. That's all I'm gonna say.
Possibly
is that is some man without an H arithmetic right there.
What do you mean?
That is. John
can't count higher than 3.
I mean, I agree. He only used 3 letters to spell his name. So, because counting to 4 would have been a little too difficult for him, but it's okay. Oh well, speaking of the golden caboose, he just informed us.
He can't count to 4, and he can't count no more. That's what.
Speaking of our golden caboose himself, he's just informed us that 325 has something to do with their grandfather.
So that's right. I recall now.
That's what. Yes. There's nothing to do with their poor arithmetic skills. It is something to do. It is more of a sentimental statement, if you will, as provided by our golden caboose, John Roberts himself, who is present here in spirit. But
this just shows that he chooses not to race. He's here, but not here at the same time.
He's listening to us. He's listening to us, but
Yeah.
he's not he's not willing to step foot onto the track.
No, he's not. He's not. He needs to change his name to the Brown Abacus. Yeah, for his shit arithmetic.
Aching my head, John. Oh my God.
Paul Harris, Zach Smathers, teammates battling away to this stage of the race as well. We've got 11 laps to go here out at Bristol. Kevin Rinker is possibly 11 laps away from a race win once again. The difficulty for him is, though, he's not racing Phoenix next week. So, yes, he may be gaining a few points on Will McKellar. I don't think he's gaining enough, and will take Will McKellar either missing next week or Will McKellar having an absolute mare at Phoenix for this championship to go to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Although a mistake late in this race could have a factor in it as well. Rear end coming out loose. That'll wake up the Kim and Mamacita.
That's a wake-up call right there for sure.
Oh, the Carnitas are starting to burn up at the rear end.
Yeah. Those black trousers of the Cuban Mamacita may be brown after that one.
Pablo Escobar, eat your heart out at this point. We've got a new Cuban Missile Crisis in town. That's what I'm hoping for Will to decide to just torpedo down the inside of someone, just so I can use the terminology. The Cuban Missile Crisis is back with us again because he has missiled his way down the inside. But he hasn't done it in that livery, which is unfortunate, but still, that is okay. 6 laps to go, though. We're nearing the end of this one, nearing the end of the halfway point of this season's chase as well, with only 2 weeks to go, with one more in August and one more at the start of September. What is going to happen throughout the rest of this race and in towards the rest of this season as well, and who could possibly win the championship come season's end? Well, we know one thing's for sure. Will McKellar has done certainly enough today in the last 3 weeks to try and win the championship next week at Phoenix. He will get that opportunity if he finishes where he is today. We know that for certain, that the points that are being gained on everybody other than Kevin Rinker, who's not here next week, is enough for him to lock out the championship by next week's race out at Phoenix Motor Speedway. For Kevin Rinker, he can't win after such a dominant regular season, and there'll be conversations in the background about why I think drop rounds should be a thing in the chase to allow him and other drivers to still be within the championship hunt, as that was Jonathan Day nearly turning Paul Harris then, and somehow they make it through and keep themselves going as well. With one more lap to go, it's white flag at Bristol. We've made it to regular race distance. There'll be no overtime today here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And for Kevin Rinker, he has done everything he possibly can to try and keep this championship alive. But one thing's for certain, he may win it today, and he may have won the regular season as he crosses the line in first place here at Bristol. Will McKellar is 1 week away from becoming the series champion. He comes home P2. Rob Stevens Jr., what a podium finish. P3 for him. And a cracking end to this one. Rinker will take home the race win and the flowers today here at Bristol. But one thing we know is Will McKellar could be 1 week from being the champion.
Huge congratulations to Rinker right there. I mean, he got some...
They're wrecking in the pit lane. That was Cody Pruitt.
Yeah, he got some fighting on pit road.
That was Cody Pruitt and someone in pit lane. I'm not sure who it was, but that was...
Tempers flaring at Bristol, maybe?
Tempers absolutely flaring. The Polish victory lap for Kevin Rinker, who'll drive around the circuit the wrong way around, as we'll get up our post-race results for you here today. Kevin Rinker will win ahead of Will McKellar and Robert Stevens Jr. on the top 3 here today. Dalton Henson, most positions gained, up 10 spots. Will McKellar led the most laps today, though, of 197. Rinker with the fast lap. There's a couple of bonus points for you there. Pole position was McKellar's, though. Rinker to McKellar to Stevens on the podium. Pruitt ahead of Henson for the top 5. Mercero, Rinker, Linger ahead of Smathers and Harris for the top 10. Steve Scarborough ahead of Jonathan Day, Mike Rinker, Brian Day, Damon Marotta opposing Kareem Magnus, Anderson, Blake Hullett, Justin McCurdy, and then our race controller Austin Cole in the end. As the celebration begins on the podium up there for Mr. Rinker, that is a solid race victory for him here today. We're dragging our P3 finisher, Robert Stevens Jr. First of all, though, Rob, welcome in. Congratulations, P3 on the road for you and the Gatorade machine. A solid performance at your race end. Good amount of points on the board for you today as well. Do you feel that you can do anything next week out at Phoenix, or is this going to be a tough task to try and win the championship now?
I'm terrible at Phoenix, so I'm not expecting to do well there, and unfortunately, I'll be out of town for Charlotte. So even if I do good at Phoenix, I don't think I really have a shot because I'm going to miss Charlotte.
Well, that's a real shame. A solid points on the board, though. A solid season for you as well. How was it out there for you today at Bristol, knowing we had a few cautions all throughout, sprinkled all throughout of this race, and then a good green flag run to the end there? How was the race for you?
I think it was a good race overall. Once we worked through those, few cautions we had early, seemed like everybody did a good job of keeping their nose clean, and we got a lot more green flag laps in than what you kind of would expect at, a track like Bristol.
Well, is there anything that you think, looking at this season compared to next season in the trucks, is there anything that you're going to take away from this season and the run in the Gen 6 that you're going to apply to next season that might be a good way for you to improve for next season?
No, not really. I just come in and run the race. I don't look that hard into it. I race on Sundays and I race our rookie league on Fridays, so I guess no. Unfortunately, no, I don't really have an answer for that question.
That's fine. That's
Maybe
okay.
That's the trick to it.
Well, we appreciate the gentleman racers that are out there, Rob, and you're one of them. And, you show up on race day, you give it your best shot, get a good result every now and again as well, which is great to see. And you're in a well-presented car as well. One thing I will say is, though, you may want to check, did you make the Gatorade livery that you're running?
No, I got it off Trading Paints.
Okay,
I know,
whoever made it needs to check their clear coat, because the clear coat's done wrong. That's why it's all kind of faded whenever it's around the track and the lights. But it's a good looking.
Yeah, I haven't noticed it, but I know the fellas in the Discord channel mentioned it. Paul or Zach, one of them mentioned something about it. Looked all faded and stuff. So I guess I'll probably switch it before we run Phoenix next week and find me a different one.
Well, to be fair, it's only 2 more weeks anyway. It doesn't really make make much difference for the next few weeks. But Rob, we appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming over to chat to us as well. Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
No, just shout out to you. My typical shout out I do every time. You on your broadcast. Y'all do great. The guys running the league. The moderators and admins, all that stuff. They do a great job running the league. Like you do a great job on the broadcast, and then just my teammates that I have there racing with every week.
Well, we appreciate your time, Robert. We wish you the best of luck next week in your final round of the season at Phoenix. And if we don't get a chance to speak to you next week, we wish you best of luck next season when we move over to the trucks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, next up, we have Will McKellar out of P2, prospective champion here today as he catches up with Bailey Brannan.
Hey, Will. Oh, that's not Will. That is
Wow, that's Kevin.
That's
Kevin, hold off. We'll bring you back in a minute.
That's the wrong 325 driver.
I selected the wrong person. There's Will. There he is. Race winner Will McKellar, who's about to catch up with Bailey Brannan.
That's the dollar menu himself. Welcome to the broadcast.
Hell yeah, brother.
He had a pretty good race here tonight. 2 stage wins, and you narrowly edged it out over Magnus in that first stage. That was very exciting to call from the booth. But really, talk us through your races. You had a dominant performance here tonight, and you had a lot of fortune too with a lucky caution that trapped a lot of your competitors' laps down.
Yeah, that caution, I am so grateful it came out when it did, because I was coming to pit road and it hit just before I crossed that commitment cone. I was like, oh, this is good for me. And started back up onto the track. Now, I think I mentioned 2 weeks in a row, this is one of the tracks that I was really, really concerned about. So I have nearly 1,000 laps of practice at this track this week, because I wanted to make sure that I was, I had my marks and I was in the rhythm to, go ahead and hit them. And I got super lucky a couple times with that caution. I got I got lucky that Magnus just had a snap loose moment. I got lucky that I missed one of my competitors when they were coming to pit road, and I think I missed their pit call. But no, this is one of my favorite short tracks. When I grew up in Virginia, so this was technically, position wise, this was my home track. It's closer than Richmond or Martinsville. So just being able to come out here, hit my marks, do well. Kevin's not going to be here next week. It sucks to lead almost 200 laps and not win the race, but you know what? All those points that Kevin gained on me tonight, he's losing next week, so it's okay.
Absolutely. And I think me and Hamish were talking about it all broadcasts, is that it's very possible that you actually lock this thing up next week. And we actually go into Charlotte just being another showcase race, not really fighting for anything. Is that the plan? I mean, I'm going to assume that's the plan going into Phoenix. Are you anticipating on turning it 1,000 more laps before next Sunday?
I anticipate turning a lot of practice laps at Phoenix over the next week. And, I hope, I came into tonight, if I could just get a couple stage points here and there and get a top 10, I'll be okay. That's the strategy for next week. And we see how it paid off tonight. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get that top 5 and be all right.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. I think you looked great out there tonight. Compared to everyone else, you definitely looked like you had a lot more practice than anybody else out there. You were definitely the cleanest driver in terms of just your pace. You looked like probably the most natural out of anybody else out there. But before we let you go here tonight, is there anyone else or anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Got to thank my wife, obviously, for letting me do this. It is a test of her patience every time I sit in my rig for 2 to 3 hours and am completely indisposed. So I love her for that. I got to thank Infinity, Hamish, all you guys up here in the broadcast. Go ahead, putting this on. They're not like I say every time, they're an absolute blast to go back and watch later. Got to thank our sponsors, Maconi Setup Shop, and for making these. I think we got a few other sponsors, but I'm absolutely horrible. And I got to thank the good Lord himself.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you're, trying to remember sponsors after 250 laps is a bit exhausting. You had to go through a bit of a workout here tonight, turning 250 laps. I do have one question for you. Did you enjoy your workout?
You know what? I think so. I think I need some ice for one of my shoulders, but dude, my wheel was so heavy tonight. I have no idea why this thing was so blooming heavy. But
Bristol will do that.
It was a lot of fun, and we get to do it again next season in a different vehicle.
Absolutely.
But another long one here. I love it.
Yep. Well, looking forward to it, Will. Looking forward to see you out here next week. Wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you can secure this championship next week at Phoenix. Thanks for having a chat with us.
Thank you.
Well, finally, we will now actually bring in our race winner in Kevin Rinker, who has won the race here today. Kevin, welcome in. Prematurely dragged you before. Meant to grab Will. Grab the wrong driver from your team. A race win for you today. Done everything you can pretty much to try and offset your points enough to try and win this championship. I think, unfortunately, next week, with the fact that Will is in the position to win it at Phoenix next week and you being away, I don't know if there's any more you can do to this point, is there, to try and win this thing? I mean, you had a hell of a regular season, just hasn't come about for you for the chase. Would you hope that next season, if we were in the similar scenario, you'd have a drop round available to you that might actually keep things competitive up towards Charlotte?
I mean, that or just not choke in the first race and lose a bunch of points. I had a 29-point lead going in, and then I was -4. So right there, that just put me behind the 8 ball. If I could have sustained even half of those points, even missing next week, I think it still would have been close. But, it is what it is. I think it would have been a hell of a battle with McCall and I if I was actually there next week in Charlotte. I think it would have came down to Charlotte. So sucks that I can't battle him, but he's well deserving. And like I said, anything can happen. He could have internet problems or whatever. I mean, he could, I'm not saying it will, but he might not show up next week or whatever. So you don't know until next week. So that's kind of that's my only hope, honestly, plus provisional. I know Charlotte's going to get pretty crazy with 2 stages and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, tonight I definitely didn't have the fast car. Obviously, McCullough had it. I just kind of got lucky with the strategy. I got burned the first caution. I got trapped the lap down. And then I got in the wreck with Paul there, and then a bunch of guys got trapped the lap down. And then I was trying the fuel mileage. I was good at the end. So, and then they got trapped the lap down with the other caution. I took my last set of tires. So, I definitely didn't deserve to win. Probably just top 5 tonight, but I'll take it. Obviously, a win's always good, no matter what. And we'll just go into Charlotte and see where the points stack up. And if I'm, not in anymore, then let's go try to get a win to cap off the season.
Oh yeah. One thing I do have a question for you, Kevin. I didn't get a chance to pull you into the booth, but there was an incident earlier in the race where Jonathan Day just basically cut across your nose almost, and into the wall, and almost ended your day. And what was your reaction during that moment? Because I'm sure that probably sticks out to you as like a moment of like, oh well, things could have been a lot different if that didn't occur.
Yeah, he got loose, and then I don't know. He like almost went through my car. It looked like I'd have to go back and look at the replay, but on my screen, he went through my car and then hit the wall, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I just seen him hit the wall head on, and then the caution came out. So I don't really know exactly. I know he got loose, obviously, but I don't know if the net code saved me with these cars or if I actually did miss him. I'll have to go back and look at it. But on my end, it looked like he came through my car. So I don't know. Sometimes you gotta get lucky, you know what I mean? So so we'll take it, any way you can get it.
Absolutely. And I know we were talking before the race about mysterious cautions. Sometimes we tend to find them, especially in the Friday series that's not broadcasted. Do you feel like you were aided by some mysterious cautions here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it, payback for Friday. I had probably had that race won, and so I guess I'll take my fortune in the Sunday league versus the Friday league.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, man, like I said, I'm just super proud of this whole 325 team all season and 42, and McKellar, and we have just been dominant. Like it's crazy how dominant we've been. Yeah, I'm kind of speechless. I'm dripping in sweat from that race. Bristol definitely makes you work. Yeah, so I don't really
enjoy the workout.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I'll enjoy my time in Vegas, sweat my ass off. It's 110 degrees out there. Hope I come back richer. I don't know. We'll see what happens, and we'll come back to Charlotte and see what happens.
Well, before we let you go, Kevin, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, as always, a shout out to Bruce Muehlberger Custom Homes, come on board and sponsor me in all my leagues. I know he's watching tonight, so shout out to you, Bruce. We definitely have been a tear in the season, even though the point situation right now isn't showing it. But I think this is 5 or 6 wins, including the Clash. So definitely been, I think the class of the field this season. Just the points haven't shaken out. But yeah, and then Winker Nation, Brett, Nicole, Dylan, Brandon, Justin, my parents, all them guys and girls that come on every night and support me. Can't thank them enough. I know they're in the chat tonight, cheer me on. So thanks to them. Nate Cogdale, Sonic Graphic Design for the paint. Check them out if you need paints on Facebook, Sonic Graphic Design. All the boys over at 325. It seems like every week one of us, if not 2 or 3 of us, are always up front. Nick was having a good run there. He finished 6th. Mike definitely didn't have a good night. He was pretty upset in Discord. Some language will say that. I don't know exactly what happened, but he was not happy. But yeah, it's fun to race your teammates, but it's also very stressful because you don't want to wreck them. So
yeah, trust me, I know.
Oh yeah, admin 4 wide or whatever, right?
Admin top 4. Don't bring that up to Charles ever.
But yeah, shout out those guys. They just make this thing such a blast to race with. It's they make jokes all the time and stuff, and they gave me shit about my strategy all the time, and it almost worked out tonight. I mean, it kind of did, but I told them they got to start following what I do, and maybe they'll win some more or something. But but yeah, shout out to all those guys again, and glad to be coming back next season with them. All the way Gavin's putting us on, CJ, Mike, Zach, Paul, them guys, Bailey. You guys put on a hell of a league, and I know it's not easy to run one of these. So props to you guys for putting that on, and then Hamish as always for the broadcast, man. I appreciate it, and I love the pre-race that you guys do Most leagues, they don't do that. They just go right into the race, and I love how you do the points and all that, and definitely adds, a more realistic feel, I guess you could say. So keep up the good work, man.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Appreciate your time, Kevin. We wish you the best of luck in 2 weeks' time at the Charlotte Classic. We'll see you back on track with us again, and hope you enjoy your week off next week out at Phoenix. And we'll see if you're within a chance at the championship at Charlotte. Unless Will misses next week, I doubt that's going to happen, but we'll see. Anything can happen at Phoenix. But yeah, congratulations on your success this season, Kevin. If we don't get a chance to speak to you before the season's finished, we wish you the best of luck next season as well when we move over to the trucks for season 3.
Yeah, man, I could always pay him like $100 and tell him to miss next week, and then we could battle it out,
Oh,
But
buy him a slab, buy him a carton of cigarettes if that's his bread and butter too, and just I don't know, maybe say, hey, look, you get to smoke and drink next week instead of racing, and then that way you can come back the week after.
All right, I'll bring it up to him. But I'll catch you guys in 2 weeks. Have a good one.
We'll catch you then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Bailey, that'll bring an end to today's broadcast. And one thing we do know is we're up for what could be a hell of a championship win for Will McKellar next week when we go racing out at Phoenix Motor Raceway for the second to last round of the season, the Safe and Electric and Plumbing 150 for the 4th chase, August 30th. Be sponsored, of course, by Safe Electric and Plumbing. Callsafe.com next week. And then after that, it'll be the Charlotte Classic once again at the final chase of the season, the second annual, continuing on for the final round of the season. It has been signed on for the final round of next season as well. We know that for next season, we've got plenty of stuff coming as well. Did I actually put this in? I think I did. Let me check. Not there. Here it is. There we go. I found it in the end. It is coming back for next season as the final chase once again is the Charlotte Classic. Bit of an extended race, though, by about 5 more laps for next season. We know that TBA on January 10th is now going to be Road America. There could be some shuffling of this calendar, though. Discussions will be happening in the back end to see how that is all planned out for next season. But what we know is this is an extended calendar. 6 chases instead of 5. The sign-ups are live at the moment. You can join the Discord to get yourself signed up for next season in Season 3 of High Side Motorsports. And we go truck racing for next season. It's going to be a fun time. You do not want to miss it. Big shout-out, of course, to the series sponsors, Maconi Setup Shop, Rinker Construction Remodeling, LifePath Realty serving the greater Metro Atlanta area, Safe Electric and Plumbing, callsafe.com, as well to us here at Infinity Broadcasting, Blackheart Designs as well. You can help support us by clicking the like button, subscribe, the bell icon as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing right here on the channel. Next up on your docket this week, it is going to be the finale of Season 28 of the Simrigs V8 Veterans Action for Split 2, when we go racing at Mount Panorama, Bathurst, for 300 kilometres. And that is a tight championship, I tell you what, Bailey. Tight as ever. 2 drivers it's coming down to with less than 10 points between them. It is going to be one you guys don't want to miss. Stuart Hall and Mick Clifton will battle it out for Split 2 honours. Can Infinity Motorsport win their 6th Vets Championship, or can Mick Clifton win his very first Vets title in what has been his most successful season thus far? You'll have to catch the action live as myself and Brett Fisher will be in the booth for that one. I'm Hamish Munro, though, with Bailey Brannan alongside. This has been High Side Motorsports Season 2, the 3rd chase of 5 out at Bristol Motor Speedway for the Macho Ham 250. We'll see you guys next week out at Phoenix. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
High pressure, high stakes, Feels like the whole world's watching every move that I make. Another sunrise, another warning, but I'm still learning how to hold the line, how to quiet down the noise inside. And the moments slip away when I forget what I need. So I steady up my hands, let the rhythm set me free. I remember to breathe when the whole world shakes me down. Clear mind, finally free. I won't break, I won't bow. I'm holding on, holding on. Yeah, I'm stronger than I seem. I remember to breathe.